Welcome to another My Little Podcast. We are your hosts. I am Bree. I'm here with my brother Bryson.
Hello.
My father Gary.
Hello.
And my mother Shelly.
Hi.
Today we're going to be chit-chatting to you about the two videos that got posted last week. And that would be, let's see, we had the planter additions on the kitchen for the Wednesday recap video, which it wasn't a recap, it was a new video, but we were talking about maybe changing that name because we've changed the content of what that was Wednesday's ones are. At least it's growing. And then on Friday we painted Garen Ellie's house and we did a resin pour.
That's right.
It was a resin project, window. I was going to say experiment that
It resonates with me.
it resonates with me.
It's a window of resin.
It was a window into the soul. So
Of resin.
Sounds like a sound project.
it does sound like a sound.
Resonating.
Resonating.
We took a
with
Windows
love.
computer and we covered it in resin.
We covered it in resin.
And it's see-through.
The bus
Now
bums.
you can't replace parts or really do any work at all on it. And if one component fries, the whole computer's done.
Exactly.
That was easy.
The bus bums said something that I will never be able to unhear.
Uh-oh.
And
Are you sure you want to share this?
they said the painter sounds like a turkey.
Oh,
Yeah, it sounds like a turkey, doesn't it? Like, can you not? You won't ever be able to hear that again the same way.
That's right. Yeah, that's true.
I'm surprised we didn't have wild turkeys starting to come up.
I know it'd be a good turkey call if you're going turkey
Yeah.
hunting.
Just take with a
Bring
painter.
your painter.
Just take your painter. You're hauling that way out there in the forest.
With a silent little
Some
generator.
guy sees you out there. Hey, what's with that? Well, you never know. It sounds like a turkey.
Well, you know, it was funny. We drove up to Garen and Ellie's, and I was expecting us to be taping off all the windows. And because I saw it hadn't been done, I thought, okay, that's what we're going to spend half the day probably, because that's typically you spend a lot of time taping up a house. And we got there, and sure enough, Bill, who used to paint, that was what he did as a business when he was younger. He's like in his 80s.
Yes, in his 80s.
Wow, he
And-
seems like a spry
They used
young
to
man.
apparently he was saying he could paint like 4 or 5 houses in an hour.
He
his
him
crew.
and he
He
had
was
like
crazy.
a crew of 3 other guys or something.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Anyway, and he told Garen just get that board out, and Bryson held that board, and boy was that slick.
Slick
Oh
and
my
fast.
gosh.
Yep.
Yeah,
Very
so
fast.
he just held the board right around the windows and around.
We were
any
done
trim.
before lunch, weren't we? With the main paint. Then
Just
we come back to
about,
do trim.
Yeah, the trim took us the next half of the day because
Yep.
trim's always a little tedious.
And we didn't
It's
get
just-
started
we
till
had
what,
pizza.
10, 11? You know, it maybe only took us an hour, maybe an hour and a half to do the
Yeah,
just
it might have
the main
been.
chunk.
It might have been a max of 2 hours. Yeah, it was amazing. You guys were amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing getting that all up in there. And
It really was quick
Yeah,
and
It was
slick.
fun.
Slick, quick, and
Now they have their little
know.
cabin in the woods.
all those colors work so well together.
they do.
And I love that they have kept the consistency throughout the different projects that they have been doing on their little homestead, you know, and it's just,
Very
it's so fun. It
Well,
blends right in.
it's works out really well too because they have those pine trees around the house,
Mm-hmm.
which is not usual in the desert. But their family has spent a lot of time and over the years growing those things. They're beautiful, so it's kind of fun too. Unique look
That's very
for
cool.
them.
Yeah, it really fits right into their little oasis going
Mm-hmm.
on up there
It's cool.
real nicely. I think they're planning on doing, they have a couple of those sheds next, that same color. They talked about inverting the color, but I don't know what they'll end up doing. Looks like it needs paint, so it's the perfect time to change them up. They had some readjustment to do, I think, before they could go about painting those. But our next project that we did, we usually have 3, but this time both projects we did were so big that we just didn't have time for another little section. So,
That's right.
so but yeah, we did that epoxy resin window, and that, I feel like we had this, we come off this high of the cabinet doors. And I think we felt like we had bested epoxy. Like, it's not a big deal. A little window, Mom? Yeah, no problem.
Got this.
And we swaggered up to that thing, and we got schooled a little bit. I feel like it turned out real good. I feel like the frosting did.
Frosting.
It turned out
You
our
can't
able
see
to
all the
salvage
bubbles,
it.
the cracks, or any other blemishes.
It had more. I guess I guess what I want to say is it had more challenges than anticipated I really
Yeah.
thought just squirting that stuff on there and pouring it wouldn't be a big deal. And I think
It was a bigger
we
deal.
had somebody. I don't think I screenshotted, unfortunately, the comment, but I think we had somebody that said you can't just do the type of lubricant we were using was for, what was it, silicone? It had to be
Yeah.
specifically for epoxy.
Oh.
And then you had to
Oh.
you had to wait, like you had to spray, you had to do about 3 or 4, maybe 5 sprays. And you do a spray, then you wait a few minutes, let it dry, do a spray, wait a few minutes, let it dry. And then that's how you would do the resin stuff. But then we had this comment by Senor Galazzo. Says the epoxy art is a little nice project. If you guys are going to cast another one later on, try using a melamine box line with packing tape. Epoxy doesn't bind with it, and you will not need any release agent. Plus, the casting will be smooth as glass, and don't forget to coat the casting with a UV-resistant coat.
I had that
You
4x8
did.
sheet of melamine. We probably just should have cut a piece out.
We talked about doing that,
Yeah.
but I was just so excited when we found that stuff at the store. I was like, this is it. This is the answer to all of our problems.
I think, though, that if we would have got the heat gun out, I think weren't you testing some of that too, Bryson, later on? If we would have heated it up, it would have popped right free.
Yeah, it would have, because we learned that when you heat the resin up, it kind of gets a little gooey, so you could just heat it up, and just peel it off, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would have probably not cracked if we would have heated it up as well. I wonder if you could use a something that you could put under the epoxy that would melt, and then you could just take it off, like a really low melting like wax or something. And then as you heat the epoxy up, the wax layer melts and it releases your mold.
Yeah, I like that melamine stuff. I think we could do
Yeah,
that.
I think
that.
we maybe should have.
I think we'll probably end up doing a couple more of those windows if we ever, you guys have the little air conditioner units in your rooms. Some are.
Yeah, I'm always hoping to get one in my room this year because I know we're going to be doing the mudding and stuff. Plus, it'd be kind of fun to have one in
Yeah.
there.
I want to
Yeah.
build a fish tank eventually too, and that'd be a great way to build the glass. for
Okay,
fish
so
tank
it's
walls.
interesting
You could
now.
actually put stuff in it as well.
When we
Something I wanted to do for a while.
when we finished pouring, that resin wasn't quite hard. It seemed like it was pretty flexible. And Karen Wilcox says, FYI, the resin you're using doesn't get super hard, so it will always be flexible. I've had trouble with that resin for casting, which is what you're doing. If you want to be a bit stiffer, try art resin or marine resin if you find it flexing too much for you.
It did flex. When it got warm,
Interesting.
it
Okay.
was rubbery.
It was very rubbery.
So art resin or marine resin.
Yeah,
Interesting,
and
okay.
I don't think we're ever going to have a problem with it because it has a wooden frame all the way around it.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that'll keep it stiff. Otherwise, I think had we not gone with that wooden frame, we would have had problems.
I think
with
it would have
it.
just collapsed in on
And
itself.
it's not
Yeah.
that big too, so
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good way to go.
Yeah, for sure. Kimmy Brenham says, here, you could take your paint pins and draw a branch where the crack is. Just an
true.
idea.
That's true.
Yeah, we could have done
Oh.
something.
Turn the
into
crack
our-
into a branch. Perfect.
That's
a good idea.
thinking.
That was.
Let's see here. We had so many wonderful suggestions for that window, which we were. We had suggestions even going into it. We had a lot, and it was really fun to try a bunch of them. And even though we don't always try it right, it still is so fun.
Well, we always learn something too, and then more comments come in too. So we get not only what we can think of, but what others think of too. And so it really, really helps us be able to go forward. Now, if we do it again, which I think we're going to do
I
that
think
again.
So. Yeah.
I think we will. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be a nice way to get a custom thing to look through. So Ask Uncle Mason says, is there a reason why you couldn't use the clear piece that you set the pour on? And we did mention through in the video too, but I don't.
Bryson,
Looks like
why
a-
would we not?
Well, we use what? I kind of
The
missed
glass.
this.
The glass that we poured
Just the
on.
Why
piece of
couldn't we
glass.
cut the glass?
It was
Okay.
just a few inches too.
Well, on typical reasoning, yes, you typically could, but on that particular sheet of glass, it was tempered, So literally, the moment we would try to cut it, the moment any little piece of it would snap, the whole sheet would shatter. And it's because the tempered glass, they're designed like that. They're designed as safety glass is the way that it's designed. So if it is part of a window or something and it does end up breaking, it ends up shattering in a bunch of little pieces instead of sheets. Apparently studies have discovered that's safer for glass to shatter in a bunch of little tiny pieces.
Then sharp
shards that are really, And so they purposely temper glass like that. The only downside is you can't obviously cut it.
Yeah.
So
it's
the
actually
size
manufactured that size.
It's manufactured that size,
size,
and it stayed that size.
Yep.
So I have a question. How did you know it was tempered glass?
It has a little emblem in the bottom.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think they
stamp
might
it.
even put safety ratings and stuff on them
You
too.
guys
So I
should
think
have
they
answered that
have
so
to
quick. You should have come up
do
with
that.
some.
Well, we
know.
have additional stuff to answer though, because there's a whole video out on this very topic done by.
It was done a very long time ago. I've
Bryson.
recently watched it, and oh my!
You're
Have we grown? Oh my!
You were a
You're
youngster
like, go
back
watch
then.
it, go watch it. And then you went and watched it, and you went, I can't believe I said that.
I cannot believe I just suggested that. That was it was a long time ago when it happened. But
You got to start somewhere. So we had we're probably going to jump around a little bit because I didn't organize these comments very well. But Nora Julie says here, I honestly kind of believed Bryson had somehow poked himself in the forehead with a fork for a second there. Listen, the kid is a genius, but also a disaster.
Yes.
Anything is possible.
why is that so true?
She knows you well.
So Mom had a very gallant thing in the end. We had bloopers this time around. We don't always have like outtakes or whatever. We do always have something that we can pull out, but this time it seemed like there was an abundance. We had a very giggly week.
We had a lot. We actually cut some out. It wasn't quite.
There was too much there, but
We had a 2-hour video. I had to get it down to
so Mike
20 minutes.
Conrad says, Shelly, the wasp whacker, good job, Mom.
Oh yeah.
Aw.
She's our hero.
Yeah, I saw it there, and I went for it, and, it died. And then I thought later, I don't know that I would do that again. But it was just, you just react and just do something, and then anyway.
It was your mama bear coming out. Like,
Yeah, I was a little concerned about you guys. I guess maybe that just
I know.
happens.
I was like running for the hills. Mom's like, get it over here.
I'm skeptical.
Jarring Creation says, LOL, Shelly went ninja on that wasp.
Oh, total ninja.
There was more of them too, but those were two of my favorites.
You have to one of the things is like if you're gonna go and attack a little insect, you better be darn sure the thing's going to die. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure Mom was obviously very confident. She did not hesitate.
If something
she was
stings
like, I'm
back.
gonna get you, and she was like, she got it.
Yeah.
Well, probably wearing flip-flops wasn't the best,
Did you hit it with your hand, or what did you actually
that
hit
was
it
the-
with?
I'm not
Something.
sure, but like I said, you just kind of do stuff and then you think afterwards, I
I could have gotten stung.
that flip flop, But anyway, no, it was good. It was good. He was slow. He was easy.
I know he had no idea what was coming.
Yeah,
like
he was
none
easy.
whatsoever.
We've
Mom.
had a problem, like we said last week, with the bees, and Bree got stung on the cheek, and
I've actually
so
had
It's just I just
been
feel bad that
traumatizing.
you're
It's
just
been-
like
I don't like
It's
having to
been
be
really-
tortured by these things.
I have been, and they keep going after me, and I didn't realize until today what they had gone after. When I originally got stung, the bee didn't do its little hit you on the head. It went straight for my glasses, popped off of my glasses, then came back round for the sting. I've never seen a bee move so fast in all my life.
But you
Usually they're kind
discovered
of
something
slow.
today, didn't
But
you?
today, I was chased inside by another bee that went after my glasses. And I was reminded that that's how it originally happened. And so
Your glasses were
I
tagged?
cleaned my glasses off, and I haven't had an issue.
And if
that
you
makes
if you
sense.
know how bees work, they will tag you with
they'll leave a little stuff behind.
That's called tagging, isn't it?
yeah.
tag.
Is it a smell or a
Stone.
residue?
It's a scent. I'm not really sure what it is, but whatever the scent is, all the bees become
It's
very aware that
BP.
you are
It's BP. They
It's very
pee
possible.
on you.
Ugh, don't even
It's
with that.
very possible.
I don't think so.
It's the same color.
Same color.
So that was a
But-
good discovery. Now you
It
know
was a
why the
fabulous
bees have
one.
been
And
attacking
I mean,
you.
like and I thought they were flies, but now I'm not so certain they were flies. They were.
Yeah.
Every time
Well,
I
maybe
walk
flies.
outside, there would be little bugs that would just dive bomb my head, and I'm like, what is going on?
I mean, we thought you were a little crazy. We're like,
Yeah.
Cree, it's just bees, or it's just flies, or it's the cutter
Yeah.
bees.
Here
And
my-
we're trying to tell her,
We're all
different
trying to calm her
buzzes.
down, like, oh, don't worry, they're not gonna hurt you. They'll swarm you a little bit, but they'll go away. They're not gonna hurt you. And lo and behold, she gets stung.
I know. Oh, they're so slow, you know.
Oh yeah, you'll
They
be
give you some time. They
fine.
bounce off your head first. You can just dive, just run for it. No. No, that did not happen. I still, when something flies over my head, I confess, I still duck. I'm still not over it just yet. I got a
Yeah.
tad
Oh, yeah.
traumatized.
I wouldn't be either.
you'll get over it, though.
I
it'll,
will
it'll go away.
eventually.
We
My-
can probably get you some counseling or something like that.
I was telling my friend, and she was laughing, but like, oh, but also laughing. It's like, it's just a bee. This thing wasn't even that bad. I don't know what's wrong with me.
You mean the friend who's never gotten stung?
I know. She's never gotten stung.
She's gotten bitten, but she has not gotten
Oh,
stung.
she's amazing. You know, it reminds me
Difference.
of that show. That's it's one of the movies where the guy's not one with nature or something. That's the joke, and nature keeps like just having at him.
Oh.
Like I think a squirrel goes after him or something. Like the whole, like half the movie, he's not one with nature, and his buddies are like, "You need to get one with nature." And I feel like I've not been one with nature. It's just been going after me. Anyway,
I will say those bees have been like really quite aggressive.
well, you moved
and
them.
they're really
They
far
weren't happy
away.
about that.
Like they're really far away.
Yeah, they are
And
far
I'm
away.
thinking there were some of the bees that were left on the hive, and I just suspect that maybe when we left them behind, they didn't know where their home was, so they just started.
They just
flying
started a
around
gang
monotonously
and went after us
And
and everything
I
else.
guess
started
so.
a
I
gang.
don't know.
Started
Let's
a bee
get the
gang.
humans.
Let's get them.
Let's take them down.
Yeah, they're brave little suckers, I tell you. S.R. Jones says, when Azalea is done with it, my cardiologist suggests that she gives my heart back. That's not even fair.
So nice.
She
That was
is.
my baby.
She's so talkative.
Oh my gosh.
She's
we
a
were on
cutie.
call. I was on call with Garen not too long ago, and she was just talking in the background. Like,
She really is quite talkative.
she
And then
is
when she
extremely
starts,
talkative.
you can't walk away. Like
She's
talking
staring
to
at you.
Yeah.
And you feel like you can't leave.
We were
Well,
trapped.
it's not
several
like either
times.
one of those. Her parents are real big talkers. We can get Garen going sometimes, but
I don't know.
typically
I think
Ellie
think
too?
she might be able
You
to
see,
talk everybody.
closet
Both-
talkers.
I think Azalea's just good.
and I know Garen, when he talks to you, and he has to be in front of your face, and he's always, and if you move, he'll start moving with you. He always
Yeah.
wants to be
He's got
right
you gotta
there.
look him
he's
right in the
talking
eye.
with you. And I feel like Azalea has gotten some of that trait of wanting to stare at you when she talks to you.
Yeah.
Down.
And then when she notices you're standing there watching, she's like, "Oh, finally, an audience." It's great. Jojo says, "Good thing Azalea was supervising. I don't know if y'all would have pulled it off without her."
True. You know it.
That's good.
It's
True.
so cute. I gotta bring up the video so we get the okay, so Kay says, "Are there some dogs missing? I haven't seen a couple recently or something with all the animals. Hope they're safe." And yeah, everybody's good. We haven't
Yeah.
seen Ollie because she's working her last week or whatever, and then I think she's gonna be doing more homesteady stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's why we haven't seen Ollie, because she hasn't been filming. But
I spent
everybody's
almost
been.
the whole day with Ollie today. He's just a little love bug. I
Oh, he
love
is.
that dog.
He's so nice.
He's really a
Except
lot
for
of
when
fun.
he chewed up Shay's glasses.
Did he? Well, he's
She
a
had
bit of
another
a
pair,
monkey.
but still, he is a little monkey.
He
He's a
just
bit
likes to
of a-
play. He likes to have something to play with
Yeah.
at all times.
Yeah.
I
If you
pulled a
don't-
little piece of yarn out of his tooth. When
Yeah,
he was there. He had
we
this
had a
red
tooth
yarn just
thing
sticking
going
out.
on,
And I was
yeah.
like, "What's that?" Like, pull it out of his tooth.
I think we did get some video of him. You'll probably see him this
Oh, yeah, we
Friday.
might.
Yeah.
Oh,
I did
I
get
know.
one quick little shot of him before we left.
Okay.
So-
He's such a cutie, and
He is.
he just explodes on camera. He's a ham. So-
Yeah.
And his
He's-
underbite.
He's got that incredible face.
And he has these two fangs in his underbite.
That's where he had a piece
He's
of
great.
string hanging.
Yeah, he had on one of those fangs. He
Yeah,
had a
right,
piece of string.
shank.
He gets stuff stuck in there.
I was
No,
like,
you
I
can
got
store
that.
things
I got
there,
that.
you know.
Like I plucked it out of his tooth. I'm like, whoa, what was
Hey,
in there?
I was saving that.
He probably was.
Yeah, knowing
It
Ollie,
was.
he's like, I'm gonna need a toy on the go.
And then he seemed like he wanted it back, so I kind of gave it back to him. He was like, I don't want that.
He just wanted what he didn't have all of a sudden.
Yeah, I know.
So Alavo R says, I have always wondered, where does the music from the videos come from? And that's just YouTube music, the YouTube audio stuff. We figure we're safe with that stuff.
And
On
every now
occasion, sometimes Bree and I will come up with something, but that's an
Yeah.
occasion.
Yeah.
We're kind of busy. It looks like we don't get to do as much music as we'd like.
It would be a lot of time to do 20 minutes worth of music every week.
Shakes.
That would be a
In
lot.
addition to everything else we do.
Yeah, that would be a lot.
A lot of repeating of the same song.
Look, it's a key of G.
I got
Again.
time. I got time for 2 minutes, so we're gonna need to make this stretch.
The chords are really long.
Hey, wow. They've been playing that song for, it hasn't changed.
Oh,
What's
can you
going on?
imagine? It would be so boring, and nobody would know why. It's just like, why is this song boring? Or
Why is this show
boring?
boring?
It's just boring.
And then someone would figure it out and be like, guys, you got to switch up your music.
Yeah, it was a little
That's
dry.
nice.
It's a little dry. It was good for the first 2 minutes, but y'all just need to calm down.
Yeah, it's good to have YouTube, though. They have some pretty good cuts that we can
do.
use. And they bring in some fresh stuff every now and then.
That's really fun. They brought in a
Yeah.
fun batch
Almost.
of
Oh, no.
reggae music,
Oh, yeah.
which was fun. They brought it in when Bryson was doing his B section, so he had little reggae music going on in the background. It was so fun.
It was fun. I'm glad they're keeping to update that.
Yeah.
Updating it. Because a long time ago, they were not updating that very
Yeah.
often. They seem like they're updating it more often now.
As you're going through the library, you'll find songs that are like the single most used. Like Safety Net is like the single most used song. I refuse to put it in because it's ridiculous. Everybody uses Safety
Yeah.
Net.
You do hear them if you're, a YouTuber and you listen around to other YouTubes. You do occasionally hear, oh,
Yeah.
hey, I use
Or
that.
accidentally we'll use someone else's theme song. I think we did that
Yeah.
accidentally. I didn't know.
Hey, look.
I think it was some ranch one or something, and then
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, it's that person's theme song." I thought, "Oh, I'm sorry, man, I didn't know."
I think we got our theme song from Dano song.
The one with all 6 of us,
Yeah.
all 7 of us, and soon to be 8 of us at the end. That was Dano songs.
Yeah.
But the one in the beginning, I think, is for the weekly peak is I think it's Indie Romance, and that came from YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, the ones for the 2 new editions, those are all YouTube stuff too, like the podcast and the recaps and for those as well. I think.
We'll get around to doing some more original stuff here, I hope.
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yep.
It's in the
Been
plan.
fun.
It's always in the plan.
It's in the plan.
It's always-
We're very patient and also impatient in our patientness.
Shelly goes, hey, do you think you might have time for a little? You start laughing.
One day.
Maybe, yeah, okay, yeah. All right.
If we have a tune that we specifically want and we can't find it on YouTube,
We'll do it.
I can go to Gary and say, "Hey, Gary, I need the Addams Family little tune," and you can whip that kind of stuff up. And you've done that. You've done that a few times.
Yeah, we need something spooky.
remember.
Yep.
I remember I made this song on like GarageBand a long time ago for my video, and I just made it, and it got like flagged for like copyright or whatever, and I was like, what? That's not copyright. I made it, right? And oh man, that was a whole
Have you had
bundle of
several
joy.
through the years?
And then I had to like cut it out. Like they would not. They blanked it out because I couldn't get it. I was like, okay, fine, it's all right. It took me like 10 minutes to make it, so it's fine. But it was like, it's like so sad. But
that's the problem with using samples and some of these
yeah,
ones.
I
Is
think
other
there was
people
some
use samples and then
GarageBand
they
samples in
yeah.
there that.
GarageBand's fine with you using the samples, but when
It's
other
just-
people use the samples for their copyright work, then it
That's a
becomes a bit of a
problem.
gray area.
Yeah, I think that's what kind of happened with that. But
Arctix says, "How old is everyone in the family now?"
I'm 21
21.
again.
We've got 21
Yeah.
and 20 over there.
Come on, baby.
and then that would make
And I know
us
that this is a plot
2 or
twist,
3,
but I'm 25.
How does that work?
and I'm 21.
Bryson's 21.
Now you never know. Our
I'm old enough to retire.
And Garen is 23.
3.
Mm-hmm.
Shay would be 19.
No, she is 19, yeah.
And then Ellie would...
She's the
Ellie...
same age as me, so
23.
she's 25.
Okay.
25. Okay, 25.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, it's shocking. I'm older than Garen. I know that this is news. I don't mind.
We have
He's
to
the old
admit, though,
fart. Make him the old fart.
You have
That's
to, you have
fine.
to know, though. I mean, Garen has never been a child.
No.
Even when he was 2, he
What
thought
are
he
you
was
saying
an
about
adult.
me? What are you saying
No,
about
I'm
me?
just saying Garen has always
Always
thought
been
he always
mature.
thought he was a 40-year-old man.
Yeah.
Even when he was 2.
He's a 40-year-old
Remember?
man.
I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
he
yeah,
just he
absolutely.
always acted like
acted
he.
like he was really old.
You know how you take babies serious because they take themselves serious? He brings that to new heights.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to go grab the top comment from the Weekly Peak. Do you have anything over there, Mom, from our
Oh, I haven't
from our
been
plans?
looking. I could look.
I'm sorry. I was segueing over to you, but
Oh.
now
Sorry.
we need to unsegue momentarily and grab that top
Did we
comment
talk
we
about
like
the
to-
window enough?
Oh yeah, I think we
Okay.
I think we did. I'm actually quite pleased with the way that it ended up. It wasn't how I expected, but I am happy with the way it looks in that window.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
I think about the painting while you guys are looking. The painting and seeing what's his name? The 80-year-old guy.
Oh, Bill?
Bill. Seeing Bill under the porches was like, oh my gosh, is he
Crazy.
okay? You know, it's like,
I-
oh my
Even, like,
gosh.
He's just.
But he's like,
even
you
I
know,
was like, why is he
just
doing
working
that?
hard, scooching around.
I have to
He
say,
was awesome.
though, I don't know if this is telling on him, but he was getting up on the ladder.
I know, we had to stop that.
And we
believe
were
that.
a little
That was
afraid
scary.
because
That was scary.
he's, he really wants to work and he just does
He's a
not stop
hard
working.
worker.
And he had that ladder and Ellie's like, Bill, I don't think so. I don't know. You should be on that ladder,
She's
Bill. I'm
always
not so
gentle.
sure. And I'm watching him out of the corner of my eye because I'm thinking, how are we gonna? You can't tell him no. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
not right.
He's 80. I'll do what I
Yeah.
want.
And so I watched him, and I could see him kind of getting up on there, and I was getting worried about him. And I think he kind of felt like he wasn't quite safe too, because I noticed he put it down. Then he sat down, and then somebody said something to him later, and he goes, "Yeah, they wouldn't let me get on the ladder."
There you go.
So I was glad he got
Brought
up
his
there.
own paint bucket and paintbrush. He was
He was
so cool.
awesome.
I
He's
like
an
that
awesome
The
guy.
moment that ladder opened up, I was like, quick, take it. So he doesn't use it. And then he went under the porch. And I was
Yeah, it's like,
oh,
ow,
man.
man,
Yeah.
you
So
trade
then I
one
quickly
for
got
another.
all the ladder done, and then I went and did the
crawling
other
around on the
porch on the other
ground.
side to try to quickly do it.
Well, I had the ladder for a while, and I was just doing touch-up paint on the trim, and I'm just cruising along, and then Garen was, pushing the baby azalea around and stuff, and I thought, well, I'll do that, and I switched places with him. I was so glad I did because I forgot how quick Garen is. He's just up there, he's moving from, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's already almost to the end. I was going so slow.
I know.
We were rounding that corner on the back side, or the front side of the house, actually. And Bryson had that mishap with his
Okay, now
It
I
is
was
bored.
holding it away from Garen's face.
You were.
Okay, and there was paint on the cardboard. It's cardboard, and I was holding it away, and it was a very windy day, and I had a hold of it, and the spots where I was holding it, literally just the spots where I was holding it, broke. And so the board just slams right into Garen's face.
the paint side. So, it's the thick paint, and it just went slap.
right in his beard.
perfect.
Everywhere.
It was perfect.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh
It couldn't
my
have happened
gosh.
to a better guy. You know what I mean?
His cheeky grin was
His-
like, what
yeah.
happened? He's like,
I'm surprised he didn't take his hand and get some paint, and all of a sudden he had paint wars.
I was,
That'd be him.
It was the wind. I was holding it.
I was surprised you didn't do retaliation.
Yeah, he's
I guess
sent
once
it.
you have a kid, you kind of outgrow
you
that.
don't want to
No,
start
no, I
that
don't want him
because
to
it'll
grow
be
up.
endless with the young.
He can't grow up. Wait a minute.
It's not. Yeah.
No, I really think that Garen and Ellie took paint wars to new heights, and nobody
When
can
we were
compete
younger,
with that.
or when
Koopa.
you were younger.
think-
I can't say when we were younger. I can say when you were
Like that.
younger.
Well, you were
Eighth
younger
of a
too.
bucket.
Yeah, but it's
One of them dumped like a bucket that had like that much paint. She just dumped on one of them. It's very
Yeah.
funny.
And she's like, in hindsight, she's like, we wasted so much paint. That was like $10. Like,
Garen and Ellie, when they were little, were the perfect, pull the ponytails of the girl thing, weren't they?
him. No.
They both.
oh yeah,
that
it was
yeah.
equal.
Oh, yeah.
They just
Oh, yeah.
were ruthless to each
Oh.
other. It was hilarious, and they were always mad at each other.
Oh, yeah.
But it was.
I will never live down. Okay, so we grew up with Garen, and Garen is a tease, and so I've learned how
Yes.
to. you learn how to work with him, and you just don't let him, you just don't give him the reaction, and eventually he goes away. And so, but I will never live this down because that didn't apply to Ellie apparently, because we were all eating our ice cream, and we were eating like, that Moose Track ice cream where it's like there's fudgy bits of it, at the end, like
There's
it's
like the
swirly
really
chocolate.
good like chunks in it.
Yeah, we were really into
Tastes
that
really
for a
good.
while. And she was saving that as the finished bite, for last. And Garen was inching closer with his spoon, like he's going to take it. And I told Ellie, he's not going to take it. Just ignore him. And he kept going and going and going. He scooped it out and slowly ate it in front of her. And I was like, that never happens. What the heck? I'll never live it down. That's the first thing that Ellie tells me.
What did Ellie do
ate
to
my
him?
ice cream.
I just need to know how'd she retaliate.
I think we were both so stunned. I don't remember. I just remember being stunned he did it. I was like, that never happens. I'm sorry, Ellie. I thought I was giving you sound advice there. She was like, yeah, that didn't
Garen's a person who looks for the reaction. He wants the reaction.
Who cares about his sister but the girl he likes? I'm not going to go all in.
Garen still does that. Even today, he'll do funny little, try to fool us with something.
Yeah.
And sometimes
He's a tease.
Yeah, he's a tease.
You have to watch him.
Yeah,
He's-
sometimes when he's truthful, it's like,
Huh? He's like, no, I'm serious. Yeah, well, you
Okay,
say that
now,
a
okay.
lot, so you're going to have to be more
But
convincing.
he's completely flipped, and he does not tease her now.
No.
He's
No.
just
No.
super, super
So
nice
good to her.
Very
Once he
nice.
reached that certain age.
Well, he won her over.
yeah.
yeah,
That's
He
true.
won her over.
There's no more work to be done.
We did that.
It's been done.
Who else do I tease?
Now
wait,
we could just be nice to her.
wait. There's still Azalea.
Oh, he'll tease
Oh.
her
He
He already
relentlessly.
does. He already teases the baby, and she's used to it. I think at this point, like, yeah, that's sad. He has that big beard, and so he'll like and put his beard up to her cheek or something, and she
cringes.
cringes, and then she smiles, and then he goes and then he does it again, and she cringes.
And
and
one
she
of the most,
smiles.
one time she was like, she wasn't gonna smile. She wasn't gonna smile.
Oh,
And
yeah.
all of a sudden she's broke into a smile.
Yeah, but you could see her visibly like, I'm not
She's
gonna smile
trying
this time.
not to do it,
I'm
and
not
it
in the
just-
mood, and then
and
she
it
goes,
happened.
"Ah!"
Couldn't help
she
it.
couldn't help it.
Couldn't help it.
It was so cute. Oh my gosh, those are gonna be funny. Funny as those two are gonna be funny to watch. As,
Oh gosh.
As
Or
time
the other
moves forward.
kids. If there's more kids behind this, it's gonna be amazing.
she's got the
Okay.
perfect oldest disposition. I think.
Yeah.
she'll be good.
Should be tough.
Well, I mean,
Should be
early
tough as her
to say,
mom.
but-
Holy cow.
Okay, this is a comment now off of the Wednesday video, which was we talked a lot about the hanging plant and really what has become our favorite plant, which is the pothos plant. And Dee Saw says, it was recommended to me that if you place 15 cuttings in a pot, it will grow to look very full and lush. Anyway, I thought that was a good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dee Saw. That's good. That's a good one.
15 cuttings. 30 cuttings? Would it look more full?
100 cuttings. It would really look full.
Could you
Yeah,
just keep
I don't
increasing
know.
that number to make it bigger?
Let's see. I think
You could do a whole
you make a
yard
fence?
full. Yeah, fence with it.
I think
Right.
the one hanging closest to the back door is a cutting, and that one's really growing. But we
It
only
is
put one
amazing.
in there.
yeah.
So
we
yeah,
did.
if we put more in, it would really fill it right out.
One
Then we'd
time
have to have a
we
machete to
forgot
get in. It was-
One of the times with those potho plants, we forgot to water it. It was in like Shay's room, and she
yeah,
left
we talked
for
about
like
that.
several months. Right, when she
Yeah,
came back. It was just this little tiny piece left, and we were able to put that in a jar and get that growing.
Yep,
It
amazing.
was amazing.
It's amazing.
The plants
so
you can't kill. There's athos and pothos and logos, and those are all Latin,
There's a lot of O's
Yeah.
and
Is
O's
there
and ums.
pineapples?
But we will
No.
confess that we had no idea what the name of that plant was, and we
10 different names.
and we didn't know. So we looked it up and we practiced saying it right, so that we could say it right.
Mom actually put it on her phone so that she could hear it.
yeah, so I could replay
Oh,
it
the
in my
Google
ear because I
Translate
just
thing.
trying to say it right. but
Yeah.
Anyway, Stephen Council. Hi, Stephen.
Hey, Stephen.
I see
Says
that.
with all those plants, you should have some nice, clean, and pure oxygen.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. We'll be sniffing.
We'll feel energized
Yep.
coming out.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Thank
the top comment on the weekly peak now was from Alan W. And he says, Bryson, your talent is engineering.
Engineering. You're an engineering person.
I do like that.
I said it slang. He said the full word in full disclosure.
Well, thank you. I do enjoy engineering. It's
A lot
fun.
of fun.
It's fun. I enjoy
You're
it.
very good at it. I always come
I
to you
don't
with
know
the
about
weird and
that.
wacky ideas like, okay,
I don't
Bryson.
know about that.
Okay, I want to do a desk, but I want the desk to have 2 modes. The first mode I want for gaming, and the second one I want for, it has to have 2 setups. Do you think you can do that? For one for drawing, one for gaming? And you're like, yes. So you did that mock-up, and then you engineered that thing using skateboard
1, 2, 3
stuff,
design.
and well, yeah, you designed it first, and then yeah, and we had a lot of that the PVC pipe in hanging around, so we were able to work that into the design. And
The only thing I wish it had aquaponics built into it. With all that pipe, you'd
That's
think
the
you'd have an
latest.
aquaponics system built into the thing.
Yeah, we should have fish.
that would be so cool to have
Eat a
fish
strawberry.
in your desk. It'd be so cool. Oh my
Put your
gosh.
monitor inside the fish tank. You have fish swimming across the screen while you're trying to do something.
Okay, I got some more comments here.
Okay.
Bubbles Spring says, referring to our kitchen, you have so much sunlight. Orchids would be beautiful. Everything looks amazing. And she says a few more things. But orchids, it's interesting about the orchids because both Garen and Ellie, not the last Mother's Day, but the one prior to that, had bought both me and my mom an orchid. And we had ours, it just has those leaves for a lot of the years after. I mean, the flower lasts forever. It's amazing. And then there's that leaf or that leafy part. And so both me and my mom, who we just happened to be watering it. I don't even know what to do with it. I'd never had one before. I just thought it would die out. It's flower. It's just going to go away. But that green thing was still there. So I kept watering it, and so did my mom. And both of us, we were talking one day, and we both were like, "Yeah, it's flowering." And hers was flowering, and mine was flowering. And we were taking pictures of it and sending it back and forth. And I have that orchid, and it has probably 15 flowers on it. It sits in the bathroom, and it is beautiful. So
That is the place to grow plants too.
yeah.
If you have if you live in a very dry climate, bathrooms are like.
But I wouldn't mind getting a couple more of those, putting them in the kitchen. That's a great idea, Jessica. I like that.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Or I'm sorry, that was Bubbles.
Bubble
That
Spring,
was Bubbles.
right?
Bubbles.
We have Jessica Mackey said this. Yes, I love pothos. I have a golden potho, and she gives me so much joy. Golden. I got to look for a golden one now.
Oh, I didn't know they came in different flavors and
I
colors.
didn't know
Is it
either.
14 karat gold or 20
Yeah,
karat gold?
sure.
Who says money doesn't grow on trees? Or that's because they don't. They grow on plants.
It's always so fun. We want to say, I know we're not the end, but I just want to say thank you so much for sending in your comments and stuff. It's always such a pleasure to go through and read them, and
It really
it's always like an energy boost too. Isn't it? Like
It's encouraging.
the ideas, and people are like way too nice.
Yeah.
I won't say stop being nice because it's very encouraging, but thank you for
Yes,
being so
Yeah,
Thank you.
nice.
such a nice group.
Mm.
Yes, we've got a really nice group that
It really is. Very nice.
Somebody had asked me about future projects. Can we talk about a little bit about those? Okay.
Yeah, we were waiting for you to continue.
Yes.
I was like,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
yes, go for it.
Yes.
I
No,
didn't know
future
future
projects.
I'm sorry.
I think I'd like to start with that outdoor kitchen idea. I know we've talked about it in the past, but just to keep everybody going, is that the outdoor kitchen is a project we want to get started on. We've got some ideas. We saw just recently that nice Kittle. What's that thing called?
Skittle Kittle. Kittle Skittle.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we almost bought that.
Oh,
just,
that's so cool.
yeah.
But
It's like
anyway,
a griddle.
griddle.
But it's
Thank you. It is a griddle.
Oh,
Skittles are the candy.
I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Griddle.
thought you were
No,
coming
it's a-
up with a cute little name
It's
for
a
it.
Skittle griddle. It grills Skittles.
Yeah, Skittle griddle. But anyway, we want to do that and put the definitely want to make a pizza oven in there too for that.
And I've been slowly
And,
trying to convince Mom and Dad that they should put an aquaponics system in there.
Yeah.
You grow all your herbs, one wall, So all you have to have is one wall, maybe a display tank down lower. You have to do a tank if you don't want.
So who's gonna balance the water, keep the fish in it, tend it?
You know, you don't have to do fish. You do hydroponics, and you could forget fish. You don't have to worry about those guys. And then you just keep a sump tank.
No lobster tank there where I can just reach in and grab
That's
me a
what I
lobby.
want.
And
I want a
Lobsters are
lobster
different. I don't
tank.
know I don't know if they have freshwater lobsters. Do they?
find ourselves
Why do
some
we have to have fresh
grass-fed
water?
beef
We can
or
get-
steak.
Well,
Can't we
you
get salt
grow
water?
plants with salt water.
Well, we could grow seaweed.
That's true. You can grow plants.
And then we
just
could
not
have
the kind of
sushi.
plants I'm thinking
We've been
of.
getting into it. I'm not
Brie
opposed.
Barely Bakes.
Brie Barely Bakes.
You've been
fresh
threatening.
sushi
You've been
rolls.
threatening to do sushi. Where's it at?
Yeah, where's our
I
sushi?
You know, too, our water is
I want a
super
Brie Barely
duper-
Bakes apron before I do it. I feel like in order to complete the ensemble.
and your aunt was going to do it. Aunt Debbie was going to do that with you, and
And
she
she
broke
had a-
her foot.
Oh my gosh. There are pins and screws and
Yeah.
plates.
That's
and
been a lot.
Yikes.
That won't
done
hold her
tried.
down, though. You know Debbie. She'll be.
Up and
she'll
around.
be up
and
and
I
around.
need
around.
a brief recovery, which means I got to get going on a Brie Barely Bakes thing, so we're
Yeah.
all
Okay.
set when she's
And
all
I
ready to
think
go.
it's-
We'll have to get her one too, a
Oh,
T-shirt
yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
She'll like that.
Something as a thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Crazy. Anyway, outdoor kitchen. So we got a skittle, a griddle, and then some kind of stovetop type of
I was thinking
barbecue type of top, to
a
be able to
solar
barbecue.
oven would be cool, too.
Yes, I definitely want a solar oven.
And I don't know if we can use mirrors to beam light in to cook things.
Beam light in. We
Or
could just,
if we should...
It's kind of like being
Like Scotty.
up Scotty, but so much more tasty.
I was just thinking from space, they could just send down a laser and just kind of cook it in no time
And
flat.
that outdoor
you're not
kitchen,
wrong.
if you can picture where those double doors are, that's where it's going to push out right there.
Yeah, in the
There'll be
back.
a
Kinda out to
big,
the courtyard.
probably roundy area with a
12 by 12 maybe. something
yeah
like that.
little cover, and then it will have probably bags halfway, and then screen the other half.
Yeah, it'll be a screen porch kind of an idea.
And it will allow us to cook out there in the summer because it's so hot, and it doesn't make really a lot of sense to be baking or cooking in the
Inside,
kitchen.
nope.
We do it though because
But to
It's
have
so
it outside
fun.
in the
It's so
summer
fun.
means that we can, even if the monsoon's coming through and it's raining like crazy,
yeah,
that won't affect us.
that'd be
We still
fun.
cook.
Be fun to be out
Yes.
there cooking when the rains are hitting all over the
Yeah.
place. That'd be
I'd
fun.
be like, and not being attacked by mosquitoes would be also
Yeah.
another
Yeah,
awesome.
carried away
Yeah.
by mosquitoes, you mean? They get out there so much.
Yeah, there's not too many mosquitoes here like there is in other
Fortunately.
places, but
like
still they
Minnesota.
are out there. You only need one mosquito for it to be too many.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Mosquito, I'm in.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think we've had them. Well, we've not had anything to compare it to be fair. But when
I
they're
have.
lurking around your legs, there's like 20 of them lurking around your legs. I'd say that's too many.
They're
We
trying to
used
pick a
too
trying to
many for
pick
me.
a sweet spot to get.
We used to go to Minnesota every summer,
Oh dear.
and believe
And you
me,
poor Minnesotans,
we don't
land of lakes.
we don't have a lot of mosquitoes here.
That's what
But
should be. Their mascot should be the mosquito. I don't know what is the mascot for.
they have a lot of t-shirt jokes out there on
Yeah.
mosquitoes.
Michigan's the same way, just lakes everywhere.
Yeah,
More like mesquite nose. That's all I gotta
Yeah,
say. In
mesquite nose.
in any variety or amount.
Yeah, I can remember you couldn't even hardly breathe. You're fearful of sucking 2 or 3 right down your throat. What are you
This is
choking
why
on?
we live in the desert.
I'm
oh
choking
my
on a
gosh.
mosquito. What's the deal?
I think
When
I
was
had
it?
a,
Wherever we went, we went somewhere, and there were literally mosquitoes like swarming the doors of our car. And we were staring out, and they were
Oh,
just,
that
like,
was in-
swarming the car.
They weren't mosquitoes though. They just kind of looked like them. They
There
were
was something else, but
fly of some sort.
They,
We were in
I don't know. I
Vegas
feel like
area or
I feel like
something.
she was just saying
Laughlin.
that to make us feel calm inside. That those are not mosquitoes.
they were like
Shelly's
banging up
aunt,
against the
yeah.
windows, like, "Ooh, you guys look tasty." You know, like, no. Well, speaking of the desert, Heather McNeil says, "Have you ever thought about doing a video on what it's like to live in the desert?" Which I thought was kind of fun. So a bonus already onto the tack is less mosquitoes.
what's it like to live in the desert?
I mean, that's been your experience. Most of us grew up. the
Um,
other 2 of us
Okay,
in this
and then,
family grew up.
my
someplace
keep
else.
going.
experience-
I am very fair complete. I think it's for complexion, and I always worry about you with all the sun and heat and the dryness. So I'm curious, how do you manage all of that?
Stay out of the
Not
sun.
necessarily recommending any products
Yeah.
or anything, just how you manage.
Lots
like,
of shade.
Sun.
Is that
and
okay? So specifically to the sun, how do we deal
Well, I
with
think
so
it's-
much
yeah,
sun?
Probably sun and then just like
getting
Shade
a
and
video.
lots of-
I'm just trying to picture what she's asking for. What like
What's
I
it
mean,
like,
sometimes
just to
it
be in
like
the desert?
like the critters around and
Yeah,
the
I guess
dangers
like
or
yeah,
the
probably. I would think all of the above. I was
Well,
thinking like
you know,
what
maybe-
type of plants.
Let's
we
think
would
of what
not
her
do.
concept might be. If she's asking the question, it's probably come from maybe, a movie or a cartoon or some other vision of what the desert is like. So it's not filled with
like the Roadrunner.
Roadrunner and stuff. It's not. It's not so hot that it'll melt you, but it can get to 120, and
So
that's
we
like
just need to do the
Yeah.
real desert exposed video.
Yeah,
or
but
desert
let's be
exposed.
Air
honest. I
conditioning
mean,
everywhere
it never would
and-
get 120 where we are.
No,
Our
live.
elevation is too high here.
yeah.
We could
It's
get to
typically-
100
it's
and crack
typically
that
pretty-
though. We would
We
go
crack
higher.
100.
Yeah,
I
we
think
can crack
I would
100.
consider us the colder end.
It's
of
a
the
dry
desert,
heat.
or the cooler
Yeah.
end of the desert.
Yeah. No
I
humidity,
think.
except for in
No
the monsoons.
humidity.
No, there's
Humidity
no
when the
humidity.
monsoons come. Okay.
If there were no
I'll roll.
monsoon, even half the day, you're just gonna have regular old heat, desert heat, and then when the monsoons come through, it gets like muggy.
If it hits
It does get
100,
muggy. It does.
if it hits 100 here, we're gonna get rain.
Yeah.
It's
It's
because
like
we've
clockwork.
had extra hot. It's been extra hot the last couple of weeks, and we got all of a sudden the clouds just moving,
Yeah,
just
Yep.
it's
like
like
Monsoons
it gets
is
hot.
really
You're like,
interesting.
wow, it's hot, and then a day it'll be like, wow, this is hot.
yeah,
Then it's like it rains
Yeah.
yeah.
It seems
because
like
I don't pay attention to the
But we
the
only
degrees.
get several weeks of it, and it's not like it's
I don't
6
I
months out of
love-
the year.
I know it's weird, but I love the burning heat.
I do too.
I just love it. I love.
I know.
It's like being
got in
toasted though.
the-
Like you've gotten too close to the fire sometimes.
yeah,
Everywhere, but
Yeah.
there's just something
I
really
love that
comforting
feeling.
about that. I couldn't work in it,
no,
No.
but I do
love
like
that
it.
feeling.
I know
It's-
we got in
The warm sun, I love
we
that.
got in the car today, and it was like a just this like heat.
Oven hot in there,
burning.
wasn't it?
It
Yeah.
slaps you
It
sometimes.
does. And then you're like, you want to go outside, but it's
It's
not
hot.
much cooler out there
No.
either. So you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the heat will zap your energy. So you, when it
Yeah.
comes
Air
to
conditioning.
working,
Air conditioning is very important during the summer months, and
Mhm.
trying to climate control a little bit is important. But we use humidity to cool too,
Mhm.
since it is a dry area. Definitely we're using evap type of systems where it
A lot
does
of people use swamp coolers
swamp
because they
coolers,
work.
evaporate.
I mean, with the dry air, it
Yeah.
works in
Works good.
combination.
when we first
Until we
moved
don't have
here,
dry
we
air.
had one of those.
Till we
remember
don't.
that?
Then
Yeah.
it changes.
That's all we had when we first moved here.
Yeah, and we've discovered and those work great until the monsoon comes, and then they don't
Mhm.
work very good anymore.
Mm-mm.
So it's like, and we have probably 2.5 months of monsoon, but we've discovered that we just got to have air conditioning if we're going to continue to do a lot of physical work, because you go outside and it is really hot, and you need a
place to escape to.
mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so if we don't have that cool area, it slows us down, and we don't like to slow down.
Well, even the studio in here is a little bit warm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even
We've got
outside.
plans now to get some that's the air conditioning here.
Yeah, what was it called? The split.
Splits. Someone suggested
Yeah,
it for
Mr.
our kitchen,
Cool.
which was so cool because that's what we're going to
Yep.
do next year.
Yep.
We are going to put that in the studio this year,
Yep,
and
upstairs
then
down.
next year the kitchen will get it.
Yeah,
so
we've been like now that these two places are somewhat built too, so
Yeah.
we can go like, okay, well now we can start adding in those type of sub features as well. And to be fair too, I think that we felt for this for the studio, we thought we could use some other types of heating and cooling,
yeah.
just to try, because you never know. But nothing that we've done has really worked all that well down here to get the air down here. I think during the winter months we have like a little heater, and that works perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of computers in here, so it heats itself up really. But
3 or
summer
4
it gets
people
it's
sometimes.
really hot down here.
It
Even
can
though it's
be.
cooler
Yeah.
because we're underground.
Yeah.
It's still because
Yeah,
the computers. It
But
heats
when
up.
she
Yeah,
says
it does.
really hot,
Well, yeah.
it's
No.
relative. It's
It's
not
like
really.
it's like 70,
It's not really
60,
hot. It just
70,
feels that
somewhere
way.
around there.
Because there'll be bodies in here, plus
Yeah.
like us, we're in here, and then all the computers. It just gets. It's not comfortable. I'll put it
yeah,
like that.
that's
It's
why
not
we
like
thought
it's,
Yeah,
the
it's not
split
like
thing should work really good. It doesn't take much to heat it,
Mm-mm.
and it won't take much to cool it.
Yep,
So
Mm-mm.
be easy.
just it
Be
just needs
easy.
a little bit, and it'll be so perfect.
mhm.
Yeah.
So, and we spend hours in here editing and everything else. So it'd be
Mhm.
nice to be able
Music,
to really
editing,
focus and
drawing,
yeah.
everything.
Now, with that split thing, can we have like heat going on down here and cold going on up there?
Sure.
Like that's an option.
Oh,
with
wait.
that.
No.
I think it's all one.
It's one or
all.
the other.
So, Dad, if you're freezing, too bad.
Yeah, but that's not gonna happen.
Well, because I've
Well,
just got to
I'll just
there
open
is
a
a
door.
temperature difference between down
We
here
can open
and
windows up there to
Yeah.
climate control down here.
I don't think we'd be doing
I'm just
that.
teasing.
No, wait. There is a two. It is a two-zoner. So let's say that you want a temp in one zone and a different temp in the other. I think you can do that.
I think so too.
Oh, well, that's
Okay.
perfect.
So
then
let's
that
say
would
we
work.
want 75 up there and 75 down here, but once it gets to 75, yours stops and the other one keeps going.
Keeps
to
going.
Maintain
Oh,
that.
that's really cool. I didn't
Yeah.
think that would
Oh,
be a
interesting.
thing.
But it's only air conditioning.
Oh,
You can't turn the
heat.
heat on. I don't think.
Oh.
I'll have to check into that. I haven't really looked into that yet, but I'll.
Yeah, because I guess we weren't
Mr.
thinking heat,
Cool.
but we were cool. Is really what we were focused on. It just
Yeah.
comes with
Yeah,
heat. So.
'Cause I was just thinking,
we
like,
don't really need
It would be
heat.
nice to have cool air down here and a little bit of warm air up there sometimes in the winter.
Well, if we have those issues, we just have like this little fan thing, and it would probably be cheaper to run anyway. So that's probably what we'll
Probably.
do. And then we have
Probably,
up
yeah.
there we have the rocket stove.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's
That
like
thing gets nice and
I think
toasty.
heat will probably maybe not.
Mm.
Well, oh, it's an option. That's nice, but
Yeah, it's nice though, even though you have the rocket stoves and the fireplaces and those kinds of things. It's nice to be able to also just
turn the heat on.
turn the heat on. But
and it's
it-
not like we're not
nothing's-
going to use the rocket stove anymore.
Yeah, and it's
That's cool.
nothing.
It's
There's
too
just
fun
you can
not
never
to-
find heat like you can find in a rocket stove or a fireplace. That heat is so wonderful.
Yep.
You can never get that from a heater.
Never.
So I love having
Yeah,
those.
and it's cool.
Mhm.
Like looking at the rocket stove burning, it's a
Mhm.
very warm feeling,
Mhm.
and it's something you cannot do without if it's there. If it's there as an option, it's going to be used.
It's nothing like real heat. Instead of
Yeah.
all this fake heat.
Yeah.
Artificial.
Pseudo.
Funny thing is, we don't have real cool and fake cool.
Cool is cool.
Cool is just cool.
Do you think
We're
they have
just
a
like,
wet
it's a
cool
miracle.
and a dry
Cool.
cool?
Do they have a
Huh?
real heat and a fake heat?
Yeah,
That
a
is the thing?
heater is a fake heat, and
Haven't
the
you seen-
fireplace is a real heat.
Haven't you
right?
seen those fireplaces made out of light for Christmas time and the log turns around there's two little red lights on it?
Yeah,
You know what would be
Fake heat.
really cool?
fake heat.
A rocket stove made out of ice.
Rocket, why?
You would have to you'd have to somehow lock the ice in. Would just be a really cool thing. Maybe you make it out of glass or something so it looks like it's ice.
Okay,
but
now
then
that-
there's fire.
not real
burning in
ice?
it.
Okay, that's great for like an animation. I don't think it'd be pretty funny.
I think it would be cool.
It's
That
like
would
a
be pretty
Harry
funny
Potter
to have
fire
like a
blue or something.
yeah. You have like a cartoon, and the guy lives in an igloo, and everything's made out of ice, and instead of a fireplace, he has a rocket stove, and it's all clear ice, and you can see right in there. He's like, "What are you
I don't
talking
know
about?
what
This
you
is
could-
physics."
What you could use though that wouldn't get all black and sooty that you couldn't at some point you wouldn't be able to see through it.
Well,
maybe
yeah,
you
you've got
don't-
drawing.
Maybe you burn
have
like
to be a drawing.
something clean, like propane
Oh,
or something in
It's just
there.
fake. It's
It's
just
fake.
a cartoon.
It's a cartoon.
Oh, I
Yeah,
gotcha.
well, then you can do
He's
it
I can
for
roll
you.
with
he's
that.
warming
Here's the
up to
thing.
to this fake rocket stove, and it was like, everybody's how does that work? Well, the fire burns inside of it, super hot. It's like it's made out of ice. He's like, yes, it's called physics.
I see a T-shirt.
Yeah, physics, icy rocket stove.
You know, recently the mission to the space station
Oh,
and just came up.
yes.
That was so cool
Yes.
to
It's
watch.
so cool.
First time in
Yeah.
America's done it in what 9 years?
Mhm.
Is it?
And to send
crazy.
fuel to the engine through the pipes to get to the fuel, just to get to the engine, they had to freeze those pipes and freeze the engine so they could send the fuel in
through
there.
it, so
'cause
they're
there's-
not burning the gas; they're actually burning the fuel because the gas would
No, they did it so
fuel
that
would gasify.
well because
Gasify.
it was too much of a shock to have so much so cold, and then you
Oh, they
fire
did-
it up, and you don't have
Oh.
this difference. You know, it would blow an engine up.
But
So you
I've
had to
also
actually
heard-
cool the engine before you heat it up.
Now I've also heard on the other hand of that too that they had to do that for gas too. They don't want it to gasify.
Yes,
too.
true.
They
They
wanted
wanted
it
to
to
keep it
stay
as
a
a
liquid
liquid.
until it got
Yeah.
through
I
their
was-
what is it, a booster or whatever on there.
Well, it was a 3-stage.
I
I don't
know
know what they
everybody was
call it,
super
but-
excited about all the sciencey things that was happening, but I have to say their production,
Turbo.
just like their
Yeah.
talking and stuff, I thought that was pretty good.
Way
They did a
cool.
pretty good
They
job. And
did.
they
Yeah.
had really great MCs in there. I thought those were fun. Except I have one suggestion for them next time.
Oh.
They use all these fancy words like propellant. La, la, la. They need somebody in there that just uses like lame speak, like gas to make it go. You know, like lame speak. They need a lame speak MC in there. Help us all out.
Well, I mean, the difference is too. You can see the NASA people, and the way they talked and delivered things and
Yeah.
talked about the history in the past and so on.
That was fun.
And then you saw the commercial SpaceX guys and gals. I mean, they were obviously, it was the commercial side of things that they were, seemed to be more touching base with me, being able to be more, I don't know, I guess I identified more with the commercial side of it, even though I love the sciencey, spacey side of it too, and could hear and understand, but it was just nothing like that touch with the commercial side. So, and I think they did a
Seemed
great
more
job of
I thought so.
putting both together,
Mhm.
commercial and
I thought it was so
and the
fun. It was
technical
just
side
enjoyable
through
to
NASA.
watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they kept
was
some of the
very cool.
history, like coming through the doors and the stickers above, and,
I think
and
they
the
even-
spacesuits were so cool.
Oh yeah, they were pretty
so
awesome.
neat. Very neat.
I
Compared
want
to the
one.
old yellow ones.
Can I have Shay make me one? Make me a spacesuit, Shay.
Yeah, I love the little, like, when they were actually up in space. You had each of them took a different approach to keeping their legs on the chair.
Yes.
Like
I noticed
one of
that
them
too.
just let it fly, and then the
Yeah.
other guy kept his
Toes.
toes in those little
Stirrup
loopy
thing,
things. He's
yeah.
like, no, we're not going crazy. And the other guy's like, yes, no gravity. It's awesome.
We were picturing those astronauts too, as they're going to go up. All of a sudden they go, nope, they don't want to do it.
Oh,
And
that's
they
it.
go running. No, I don't want to do it. I changed
right
my
when
mind.
they sealed. I was thinking right when they sealed the door, the astronaut goes, "Guys, I gotta pee. Let me out. I gotta go."
I thought it might be funny too, is to they were having such not trouble, but just taking a process to get the doors locked, sealed, and resealed, and checked, and everything
Yeah.
else.
various things
And
they
it's
do.
not like a door on your car. They kept saying, and I go, yeah, you just reach over and you go, click. It's locked. It's so
Me
easy.
and Dad, we started joking about a car door with, and you see this spaceship, and someone shuts the door, and it's a car door, and the guy goes,
The astronaut goes over.
I know.
Too
They were
funny.
making all of these comments about, oh man, look how cool, calm, and collected these guys are. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what would you say if they weren't cool, calm, and collected? Like, wow,
don't
these guys
know.
look really nervous. Do you see how tight that one is? Like, what would they be saying? Like, why is it cool, calm, and collected?
I
They
think
didn't wait
he's.
for this
I think
moment.
he's sweating. He looks a little nervous.
He looks a
Do you
little
think he's gonna
pasty.
bail? Do you think he's gonna bail? Let's go. You know, start
And then
putting
he
him
taps
back.
out. He's like, okay, guys. Tap, 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 tap. Man, no, these guys are like pros, man. They've been waiting for this moment. And they're like,
"Very
anyway,
cool."
they were being nice. I appreciate that, but I was like, funny to
I
think of the
love
alternative.
touch screens. It's
Oh,
the first
yeah.
time I've really seen common, like, tech, or not common tech, more techiness in a rocket. You know, in the past, you never really saw that. It seemed like we were staying with the older tech because it was more reliable and not, moving forward with newer things. And it seemed like they really pushed the envelope with this.
I mean,
new
they've had
rocket.
touchscreens out forever. I mean, the
They have.
iPhone and the
And they
iPad.
have had
and
that tech that can process
Yeah.
all that out forever.
Yeah.
And it
They were
seems like
talking
they
about the
finally
gloves. They had to
started to-
design a glove that could work with a touchscreen and yet
Mhm.
be in the atmosphere. With no atmosphere. It had to be in a vacuum. And I
Oh,
thought that was
man.
interesting.
That's got to be hard.
Yeah. And then the suits only had like a little plug-in. I mean, the plug-in was like, what?
It's
This
just
big?
a little square.
It gave them air.
Wait, they have
and
to recharge
electronics and
themselves?
Didn't they like call it like the
They had to fill the suits.
umbilical cord?
Umbilical cords,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Umbilical
That's
cords.
so funny.
Oh, that's good. That's
But it had,
good.
but it attached to a little spot on their leg,
Yeah.
on their leg of their suit.
Oh, is that the little doohickey that they kept riding on?
Yeah, the doohickey. No. That's a flight thing. That's typical
Oh,
from the old
that's-
days, actually.
Oh, because
Pen
I
and
was like,
paper and the
don't
pad
they
that-
have
yeah.
touch screens now? Why they got pins going? And everybody's like, and Dad was like, yeah, they engineered all these. And I'm like,
They did.
they
spent
just
a lot of
added
money on
touch
that,
screens
on
in there. Why you got a
designing
real
pen.
pen going up? Okay, whatever.
Well, if you lose your screens,
Yeah,
then
I
you
knew you
need
were
to.
gonna say
know.
that. I just wanted to laugh about.
I mean,
the
it's
fact-
easy to do 1 + 1 is 2, but when you got some long algorithm to do, and
Okay.
there's no
Yeah, see.
touchscreen,
So if they're sitting there like this, or however they sit,
Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
to sit like that for 22 hours, or can they get it and move around? Because that'd be 22 hours of just.
I'm sure
And
once
the-
they got in
No.
space and they were just kind of orbiting, they probably could have gotten up.
Because
and
you
walked
just
around.
that would be
think.
hard to sit
I
like
don't
that.
think that there's room for that. They don't have.
They
it's
have
not
to,
like
actually,
a
they have
space
to
that
just
much room.
sit like that
They
for
have,
22
like,
hours.
They have
Yeah.
7 seats in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do they have in the back? Did they just pack it with payload behind them?
Well, payload might have been in that capsule, but it wasn't very big.
Well, did
They've had
anyone,
like 4 seats behind them though.
did anyone seize the
Yeah.
opportunity
Or
and say,
7
"Are we there yet?" At
total.
some point, because I feel like they deserve it. They deserve that line. They earned it. Well, there were some pretty
cool.
brave guys doing.
It
some-
was really cool.
It was very cool.
So,
Very cool. Happy to hear they made it safe too,
Yep.
which is
Yeah, they're
Very
there and
important.
doing their thing. They'll be coming back soon, though, right? Don't they leave?
I have
If they haven't
absolutely
already
no
left,
idea. I
maybe.
just saw them leave, and I knew they made it.
Yep.
So this week now we are going to be having. Garen and Ellie are going to be bringing a special, new, completely different project this week, I believe.
Is it a surprise?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's going to be
surprise
It'd be a surprise even
yeah.
to me because I'm not tracking.
I'm not tracking either. I
It
didn't
has
know.
to do with traveling,
Ooh, travel.
future traveling.
Okay.
I think that's what they're going to do.
Don't guess.
And then Shay will either this week or next week. I'm guessing probably next week. Ellie brought her wedding dress over to Shay and asked her to make it into a summer sundress. And so Shay's been making alterations on
I
that.
saw it today. It's
I
really
did too.
cute.
I got a little sneak
Oh
peek
my
of
gosh,
it.
it's cute.
Yeah, so that'll be fun too.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see Ellie in a dress. The only time I ever saw her in a dress was at her wedding. We've known her forever.
Yeah.
But anyway, having a little sundress, it'll be fun.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it will be a lot of fun to see that. Got a lot of great things coming at you this week. I know. I'm not sure what the Wednesday video will be, whether it'll be new or something fun from a blast from your past. I'm not sure what that'll be, but you'll know when you see it.
I think we're kind of shooting to do more new stuff on
We're wanting
Wednesdays,
to.
and then leave the as long as there's single subjects, we'll just keep it to one single subject. But the new stuff, because with Shay coming on and giving us more footage, we have enough footage to
Get the bandwidth to do it.
we do, and I think also then, but we'll still be pulling together like Garen's aquaponics, which we could do this week possibly. Would not be a bad one to do this week. Garen and Ellie's aquaponics, and then those kinds of full versions will still, be coming out so people can see that project
Just the
all in
one
one
project.
setting.
It's kind of
wanna-
nice.
We might want to get over there and get some shots too, some newer stuff going on. over there, maybe.
Yeah,
To-
maybe like with the growth in it
Yeah,
and stuff.
'cause
Now
we've
he's
had
got a lot of plant growth
growing.
and stuff. That'd be
Yep.
nice for like the final, and maybe some things too after. It's kind of nice to get some additional,
Never seen before.
and then they can say what they're thinking or what's working, what's not working, that kind of thing.
Oh
That's
yeah,
always
like a
nice.
little summary after it's been up, kind of a deal. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be kind
Yeah.
of fun. So
Yeah.
it's nice to add some like ending on there too. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, and then we started working on the kitchen full version. That one is going to be a beast because
Would you say we have of product already produced over 3 hours?
well, we had just alone, and we only to the point where we got in the kitchen and took down the wall. Okay, there's a lot more that goes on beyond that, but just to that point, we have them broken up into different. We save them off into groupings, and one grouping came to an hour and a half, and the other grouping came to, I think, 2 hours. So that's 3.5 hours right there. That needs to be. It's going to be an hour and a half show when it's done, and we're
Can
not
we
even.
split it into parts.
We're not doing parts. It's going to be one setting, one show. So we'll just hack it to death until we get our hour and a half.
I feel like it's taking a full feature length series, like pick a series that has like 24 episodes and each of them are 20 minutes long.
Oh, yeah.
And then try to make
Slam
that
them
into
all
an hour and a half
together in one
movie.
show.
So it's gonna be interesting. At least
Yeah.
it's on one subject though. I mean, it's not like it's various ones, but yeah,
Put
it's gonna
together.
be a project. But
Yeah.
Mom is amazing. You are gonna
She
make it
is
work. It'll be amazing. when it's
amazing
done.
at
Well, we'll
editing.
see. I'm
Yeah.
just going to be. It's going to be a challenge, and because it's got to be reduced so much, that's what takes the time. You're pulling all those pieces together. You're going through, and you're watching them, and you're throwing stuff out, and so it's going to take a while. But I'm gonna try to spend every spare moment I have working on that, and try to get that. I would love to get that out in the next. Well, I don't even want to say because it could take a long time.
knows?
People
I
are
don't
saying,
want to say.
"Hey, how come it's not out yet?"
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of fun projects like that in the works, and every free second we get, we're always working on something. So we like to optimize our time. So eventually it'll get done. Little by little, it wins the race.
Yeah.
I'm sure the aquaponics one. I think we already did a full version of Bryson's. I think we
I
did
think we
that.
did.
Yeah, but we like to do
so.
the full version. So I'm sure we'll do one on Garen's because that actually has been requested several times as well, and I do need to get to
Yeah.
that. That I can easily make that happen. So
And it's nice when you're building an aquaponic system to have, you know,
Yeah,
to
the
go through
complete thought.
YouTube and find several people who have done it, and then, you know, come up with your own ideas.
That helps with the research for sure.
Yeah, we love that. We
Yeah.
want to
Appreciate
be able to
that.
be part of that too.
Yeah.
for help-
Yeah.
and
The
others.
researchable part
Mhm.
of everything. So anyway, we really appreciate you hanging out with us for this hour that we spend with you. If you're listening on our iTunes or Spotify, we have the webcam version of it over on YouTube. And if you're here on YouTube, we do have just the audio versions of it on iTunes and Spotify.
Well, there you go. You
You
have
can find-
options.
Yeah, you can find those links down in the description. Thank you so much for all of your comments, suggestions, great funnies and punnies that you make from week to week. I'm always
make
like,
us
man, I wish I
laugh."
would have thought of that.
I know.
Great
We always go,
stuff.
oh, man, that was
That
good.
was so good. That needed to be it. So we so appreciate that and participating in what we do. It always makes it better. So
Yes,
thank you so much.
definitely.
And we'll catch you on Wednesday for that mystery video.
Bye.
Bye-bye.